Alright guys, so let's take a more in-depth look at the interface in FL Studio. So the most important things that you need to know and that you're actually going to use day by day is to switch between the pattern and the song. So you can do it like that. And I will explain in a moment what this does, the song and pattern mode. You can also change the tempo here as I showed before. You can also right click and choose different tempos, or you can go to set here and you can choose the tempo like that by increasing and decreasing like that if you want to. You can also go to type in value here and just type in the value that you want like that. And as you can see on all of the things I hover here, you can see this little window here or this little section here in FL Studio where everything is explained. So as you can see, it tells you that this is the typing keyboard to piano keyboard, for instance, and this is scrolls to reach time markers, for instance, and so on and so forth. So you can also see the different key commands for that, for the function that I'm hovering over here. You can see Command B there, for instance. And here we have all of the recording and editing buttons here. And here are all of the Windows buttons. And there's the pattern selector as well. You can also rename the pattern here. So let's say that we want to rename it as test. And you can also drag up and down here to select the different patterns. So as soon as I do that, you can see that it's adding a pattern to the playlist. It may not make any sense to you right now what these patterns does and why it shows up in the playlist, but I will explain that more in depth in a while. I will also create a full track in this course, so you will see how I use the playlist and use the different patterns as well. So I think that will make a lot more sense to you when you're watching me create that track live. The way it works with FL Studio when you're creating songs is that you're creating patterns, and then you're taking these patterns or clips and just arrange them in the playlist. So that way you arrange the track. So let's close all of these windows here like that. So as you can see here, first section we have in FL Studio is the browser section. And here you can see all of the different samples and different files you have on your computer, as well as the different plugins that comes with FL Studio, as well as different plugins that you have as audio units on Mac or VST on PC. And this is the third-party plugins, such as Native Instruments plugins or other plugins that you may have on your computer. Channel rack here. And here are all of the different samples that are stored in this project, basically. So creating patterns within this channel rack. And after that, when you're creating the pattern, you can insert that pattern to the playlist. So the channel rack contains all of the samples that you have in the project. And here is also where you create the patterns that you will have in the playlist here to create the track. Easily explained, you create your patterns within the channel rack, then you drag the channel rack into the playlist. You can have as many patterns as you want in the playlist. Then you will chop them up, you can copy, paste them over, you can loop them, you can arrange them wherever you want. So you're basically painting out the patterns here in the arrangement or in the playlist here. So that is how you create the track. Mixer section here. So here is the mixer, all of the different channel tracks here that goes out to the master, as you can see. And I will explain a lot more within the mixer, what it does and how you work with it in a separate video. So just so you know that. And I'm going to have all of the different sections here, all of the channel rack, the playlist, the mixer section, the browser, as well as separate videos, just so you will know what they do. It's good to know exactly in depth what they do before working with it. I still don't believe in like explaining a very much in theory behind the different sections. I mean, all of these different sections are basically the different elements that you need to have to create your track. It's just that it works different in FL Studio comparing to other digital audio workstations. So you need to know how to do that in FL Studio, and I will show that by creating a full track. I think you will learn FL Studio the most when watching me creating the full track. So let's close all of these windows here. We're going like that. All right, so now we have everything closed. So I will explain you exactly how the signal flows through here in the FL Studio. So first you have the browser, and you can see all of the different files, the browser, and all of the different files that we have, the plugins as well. As you can see here, this is the current project, so you can also search for different patterns, effects, generators, and the history, what you have done in the current project here as well. You can also see the plugin database, so you will just get the plugins here, so you can find all of the FL Studio's built-in effects and generators here, as well as the installed effects or generators. So let's say that I have some different VST plugins here, third-party plugins, so you can see all of them here as well. And you just double-click on the plugin to load it up as well. So if you go to the browser here, and you go to all, so you can see the same thing here as well as here. You can also create a new snap, so you can create your own view of the different things that you want to have in the browser. But if you go back to all, you can also search for different samples that we have here in the browser as well. If you want your own folder here, as you can see, there are different preset folders here. You can add them in. So let's say that I have a sample pack folder on my hard drive. You can add that to the browser here as well. So you do that by go into options and file settings, and here you can see browser extra search folders. So here I can just press the folder and just find, let's say, a sample pack. All right, so I want that sample pack, or let's say that I want the full sample pack folder. So I'm opening up like that. I can also choose a folder inside of the folder. So let's say that I want Deep House Top Loops folder here as well. So now I can also choose a browser name here if I want to call it something else than the folder. But let's have it like that. And now you can see this is you can expand them like this, like that. So that is very nice to use. And the browser in FL Studio is amazing. It's very fast, it's very quick, it syncs with the tempo if you're working with loops and other stuff like that, so that is very nice. The way the signal flow works in FL Studio is that you choose your samples here in the browser. So let's say that I want to use this sample here. So I just right click and open a new channel, and that will load up this interface here. And this is basically the sampler in FL Studio. You can see the sample, you can browse it like that, you can also drag it like that, you can reverse the sample.